Imagine a world where sipping on a $6 latte is as essential as breathing, where looking flawless isn't just a choice but a way of life, and where living in the right neighborhood means everything. Welcome to the ultra-glamorous, high-stakes universe of South Korea's wealthy youth. In this land of luxury, plastic surgery is a rite of passage. Designer labels are worn like second skin, and coffee culture has become a full-blown status symbol. Oh, and don't forget about Gangnam, the exclusive playground for the country's elite, where owning a home instantly elevates you to VIP status. But behind all the glitz lies an intense world of academic pressure, proving that even the rich can't afford to take it easy. Now, South Korea is no stranger to wealth, home to tech giants like Samsung, Hyundai, and LG. It's one of the largest economies in the world, but while the US has its billionaires dotting the Forbes list, the wealth in South Korea is spread a little differently. Sure, the country boasts some insanely rich families, but the mega billionaires you might expect in Western countries are not as common here. For most of South Korea's richest families, making their mark means you're more than just a fat bank account. The richest 0.1% in South Korea make about 360 million won a year. That's around 308,000 US dollars. Now, compared to the billions you might see across the Pacific, that might not sound jaw-dropping, but in South Korea, it's enough to place you in the upper crust. Doctors, lawyers, and corporate bigwigs make up this elite group, and their kids, well, they live lives that most can only dream of. But here's the twist. Unlike the West's flashy tech startup self-made millionaires, South Korea's rich kids aren't always born into family dynasties. Sure, there are the chaebols, the families that control the nation's biggest conglomerates, but a lot of the wealth comes from newer money. Yet, whether you're a chaebol heir or the child of high-powered lawyers, one thing's for sure, if you're living in the Gangnam district, you've made it. You've heard of Gangnam style, right? Well, Psy wasn't just singing about a catchy tune, he was hinting at a lifestyle. Gangnam, once a modest working-class area, has transformed into South Korea's version of Beverly Hills meets Silicon Valley. It's where you go if you've got serious cash to burn. Ultra-exclusive and dripping in luxury, Gangnam is home to the creme de la creme of Korea's elite. Living there has become the ultimate status symbol, but it doesn't come cheap. Real estate prices hover around $10,000 per square meter, and owning a home in Gangnam instantly places you in an elevated social class. But it's not all glitz and glamour. You'd think with all that wealth, the children of South Korea's richest families would lead carefree lives of leisure, right? Not quite. South Korea's education system is famously rigorous, and even rich kids can't escape it. Sure, they might attend prestigious private schools or be sent abroad to elite institutions in English-speaking countries, but schoolwork remains a huge part of their lives. In fact, mastering English and securing a spot at a top-tier university is practically non-negotiable for anyone hoping to maintain their family status in high society. Speaking fluent English opens doors in businesses, while a degree from a prestigious school seals the deal. When South Korea's wealthy kids aren't buried in textbooks, they're likely sipping on overpriced coffee. And not just any coffee. Think $6 lattes that are more about status than caffeine. In Seoul, coffee has evolved from a mere pick-me-up to a social badge of honor. Holding a Starbucks cup is almost like carrying a designer handbag. It's a fashion statement in itself. For the rich kids of Seoul, being seen at the trendiest cafe is just as important as what they're wearing. But while they might be sipping on $6 lattes and living in Gangnam penthouses, these kids still face intense academic pressure to ensure they stay on top in the competitive world of South Korea's elite. In fact, coffee culture has become such a phenomenon that it's now overtaken kimchi as the most consumed item in the country. That's right, coffee has dethroned the nation's beloved side dish. But these kids don't just drink coffee, they live for it. Cafés, especially in areas like Gangnam, have transformed into social hubs where the elite meet and mingle. It's where friendships are made, deals are discussed, and reputations are maintained. For South Korea's young elites, a latte is more than just a drink. It's a ticket to the social scene where young elites can flaunt their wealth and keep up appearances. And while we're on the topic of appearances, let's dive into other obsessions among South Korea's wealthy youth. Plastic surgery. In a culture where beauty holds tremendous value, cosmetic surgery is seen as a necessity, especially for the upper class. Want bigger, brighter eyes? Done. Thinking of reshaping your nose or getting a forehead fat graft? Those are considered standard procedures among Korea's elite. For these kids, cosmetic surgery is like getting braces. It's just part of growing up. Many wealthy parents even encourage their children to go under the knife, seeing it as an investment in their future. After all, in a society where physical appearance is often linked to success, Yes, a perfectly sculpted face can be a ticket to a brighter future. In fact, roughly 20% of women in South Korea have undergone some form of cosmetic surgery, and it's not just about looking good, it's about being ready for life's major milestones. It could be for securing a high-status marriage or landing a prestigious job. The pressure to look flawless is real. In South Korea's ultra-competitive world, cosmetic procedures are less about vanity and more about survival. The right face can open doors, and for the rich kids of Seoul, those enhancements are simply part of the game. It's all about keeping up appearances and ensuring they stand out in a society that places immense value on beauty and perfection. Of course, fashion is just as important. In South Korea, fashion is a full-time job for the elite. Walk down the streets of Seoul, and you're instantly surrounded by a sea of luxury brands, statement handbags, and cutting-edge looks. The city has become such a fashion hotspot that it's snagged its very own Fashion Week in 2015, drawing international crowds and high-end labels. But no one is stealing the show quite like the millennials. For the wealthy youth of South Korea, style isn't just a personal choice, it's practically a social obligation. With a lineup of designer threads, a bit of cosmetic tweaking, and some serious grooming, they're perfecting the art of looking flawless, because when you're part of the upper crust, it's not just about looking good, it's about securing a top-tier marriage. For South Korea's young elites, fashion isn't just about looking good, it's about setting the stage for their next big move, marriage. In the upper echelons of society, marrying well is almost as important as making money. The chaebol heirs of large family-owned business conglomerates, tie the knot with celebrities, creating the ultimate power couple. It's practically expected that if you're rich, you'll end up with a stunning spouse. And with so many connections in their social circles, breaking into high-profile industries like music or acting isn't exactly a challenge for these kids. Their family names and wealth open doors that only others can dream of, giving them an easy pass into the spotlight. Whether it's through fashion, marriage, or entertainment, the wealthy youth of South Korea know how to stay on top. From lavish lifestyles and Gangnam to the constant pursuit of beauty and success, these kids live in a world where money might not buy happiness, but it certainly buys a whole lot of luxury. And that's a wrap for this video. What do you think? Ready to trade your regular coffee run for a $6 latte in Gangnam? Or maybe you're just curious how far you'd go for the perfect selfie. Either way, we've just scratched the surface of South Korea's glamorous and intense world of the rich. If you want more behind-the-scenes look at luxury and lifestyles and fascinating trends, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. You won't want to miss what's coming next.